Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another MAMG Let's Play of 999. When we left off, I was trying to get the safe ending in one video, and good lord, it turned out to be like an hour long. Also, I think there's probably an hour worth of content still left in this ending before we reach like its actual conclusion. So what I'm going to do in this video is we're going to go for about 25 to 30 minutes, and then in the next video I will finish it. I know that's going to annoy some people because I'm going to have to stop it partway through, but this is supposed to be the short videos, and I went like an hour, and I feel really bad for those of you who are following it, trying to keep up, and then you like come across the last episode and you're like, holy crap, an hour? Really? So in order to make up for that, we'll do like a 30-minute video today and a 30-minute video next time, and that will finish the safe ending, and then we'll go on to the true ending, which I don't even know how long it's got before we finish it. So, last time we were talking to Ace and found out that he has, I forgot what it was called, some condition where he's not able to distinguish people's faces. So now we're trying to figure out what's going on. Snake was not the body in the shower room. We don't know where he is or what's going on with him. So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of questions that have been unanswered. Anyways, so Junpei is about to hand Santa a small piece of paper. Santa squinted at the paper and began to read. The nonary game was played once before, 9 years ago. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceutical CEO, Gentaro Hongo. What is this? Slowly, Santa looked up from the paper. His eyes met Junpei's. It's the message from Zero. It was in the safe in the first class cabin. Then suddenly... Give me a break. Ace's face was red and shaking, and his voice was full of fury, tinged with desperation. That paper's a lie. Someone is trying to frame me. Me? You said me, right? Junpei's eyes narrowed, and the trap began to close. Ace inhaled sharply. His eyes flicked off of Junpei to something, anything else. Wouldn't that mean that you're admitting you're Hongo, the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical? Or am I mistaken? It was as though a switch had been flipped. The color drained from Ace's face, and as he realized what he'd done, his eyes went wide. Very well. I admit that much. I am certainly the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical, Gentaro Hongo. So what if I am? I don't know anything about this notary game that supposedly took place 9 years ago. Everything on that scrap of paper is complete BS. Someone is trying to set me up, you see? First of all, Ace stammered as he tried desperately to work himself to a more tenable position. Junpei, you're claiming I did all this by myself. Think it over, alright? How could I have killed Snake all by myself? Not Snake. It was Guy X. I don't care who it was. You said the killer put this other man into the door 3, right? Yeah, maybe. Then I couldn't have possibly done that alone. I couldn't have opened door 3 with only myself and Guy X. Nope, you could have. What? Ace's face was tight and his teeth were clenched. Junpei fixed him with a level stare. The trap was about to close. Actually, Ace, when you were unconscious, I took something from you. Remember when you were injected with that anesthetic and fell asleep in the big hospital room? Yeah, back then, I took this. Junpei put his hand into his pocket. No, you couldn't have. Ace's right hand moved. Junpei smiled. I got you, Ace. Your right hand tells me all that I needed to know. You want to tell me what you were so worried about? What's in your pocket? It's the number 9 bracelet, isn't it? Ace, Guy X, and the 9th man's bracelet. That was all you needed to open door 3. That's how you killed Guy X, all by yourself, Ace. All you needed was the number 9 bracelet in your chest pocket. Ace lowered his hand from where it had stopped, halfway to his pocket. He looked down at the floor, his face hidden from Junpei. All he could see was the corner of Ace's mouth, twitching like a dying fish. If you want to play innocent, that's fine by me. Go ahead. Tell me I don't have the bracelet, if that's what you want to do. But if you could take off your coat and hand it to me, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll have to take it from you by force. Right, Seven? Yeah, it'd be my pleasure. Seven cracked his knuckles with the sound of gunfire. Ace roared with laughter. He threw his arms wide and his head back and laughed, filling the room with a sound that scarcely belonged there. Then, it stopped. His arms came down and his head dropped to look straight ahead at Junpei. Oh, he looks evil. His face was flat and cold, devoid of any emotion. Well done, Junpei. As you so correctly deduced, I have the number 9 bracelet. I retrieved it while we were searching for the missing hardware for the red. I left the room I was supposed to search and headed for the first-class cabin on B deck. His voice showed no emotion, no sense of remorse or interest. It was almost bored, as though he were reciting an especially dull corporate letter. My purpose was to obtain the number 9 bracelet. 9 is a potent ally in the nonary game. Adding 9 to any set of numbers won't alter the digital root. Oh! Wow. As you can see, 9 is a very useful number here. With it, one can go anywhere, with anyone. So I made for the first-class cabin to obtain it. Ace successfully acquired the number 9 bracelet. He also found an unexpected bonus, the knife the 9th man had been holding. He slipped both of them into his chest pocket and left as quickly as he'd come. He walked down the stairs and headed back to where he was supposed to be. That was when he met Guy X and mistook him for Snake. Snake was on his way to the large hospital room and had not noticed Ace behind him. Ace made sure it stayed that way. He followed the man wearing Snake's clothes to door 3. When the man stopped, he walked up behind him quietly and called out, "Snake." The man turned to look at Ace. He said nothing. No words came out of his half-open mouth. He seemed dazed somehow, almost like a man half asleep. Perhaps he had been drugged. It didn't matter to Ace. Ace was certain the man was Snake. He knew Snake had been a part of the nonary game 9 years before. Snake hadn't recognized Ace immediately, but he was blind. That much made sense. Why then hadn't Snake said anything to him? Surely he hadn't forgotten what happened to him in the nonary game, but not once had he attempted to confront Ace. Perhaps his lack of sight had prevented him from recognizing Ace. Or perhaps Snake had conspired with Zero to deceive Ace. In either event, he was a threat, and it was better to deal with him sooner rather than later. Ace's mind was made up. He moved. He held the number 9 bracelet over the red. He waved his own bracelet in front of the red, and finally grabbed Snake's arm and shoved his hand against the scanner panel. The door opened. Ace threw the man through it. 9 seconds later, the door shut. 81 seconds passed. The man inside the door passed away. After that, I returned to my post as though nothing had happened. After conducting my own search, I returned to the large hospital room when the 1 a.m. bell rang. Ace's eyes were cold, and his cheeks were hollow and pallid. When he spoke, only his lips and tongue moved. The rest of his face was eerily still. Junpei glared at Ace. He took a deep breath and thought about the next question he had to ask. He didn't want to. He knew what the answer would be. He just didn't want to hear it. Junpei swallowed, then spoke. Ace, did you kill Clover? Yes. Why? Why did you kill her? She was Snake's sister. It was possible he had told her something dangerous. Additionally, she had gone through door 1. It seemed likely she might have found it. Found what? Why don't you go through door 1 yourself? Perhaps it's hidden somewhere. Seven and Lotus interrupted. Yeah, but Lotus and I went through door 1 too. We didn't see anything suspicious. Yes, I thought as much after I heard your report at the central stairs. I doubt the two of you could find it. But perhaps Clover was different. Perhaps she had found it. I was therefore desperate to find her, and at last I did, in the first-class cabin. I spoke very calmly. Did you see it? See what? Don't act as if you don't understand. You were in the captain's quarters, weren't you? Huh? What are you talking about? Very well. By the way, what are you doing here, Clover? What? Nothing? There's blood on your shoes. It looks fresh. Did you go take a look at the 9th man's corpse? I see. Your silence suggests that you noticed. You saw something, didn't you? You saw that his bracelet was gone. Clover ran. She made for the exit, but Ace stood in her way. You aren't going anywhere. He caught her by the collar as she passed and threw her to the floor, hard. She leapt back and darted past him into the hallway. Ace followed at a run. He was faster. Oh, Clover. That was how I killed Clover. His face hadn't changed. If he felt guilt or remorse or anything one might feel after taking the life of another human being, it didn't show. Seven's whole body trembled with rage, and his voice rumbled with hate. Santa's eyes were bloodthirsty, and Lotus and June's faces were distorted by anger and hatred. Ace looked up at them and smiled. It was a cold, cruel thing, with no humor in it. He shook his head and sighed. I admit it. I have lost. I have lost, completely and utterly. But don't misunderstand, Junpei. I didn't lose to you. I lost to Zero, not you. I'm rather disgusted with myself for falling into such a simple trap. And it was a trap, make no mistake. I was trapped and manipulated by Zero. The man I killed in the shower room. If he wasn't Snake, then I have no idea who he was. But he was wearing Snake's clothes, and that was no coincidence. He had also been injected with something that reduced his cognition and prevented him from identifying himself or resisting me. And we can't forget the components that were removed from the red before we arrived. I have no doubt that Zero planned all of this. Zero made sure I would kill that man. It follows, of course, that Zero knew everything I would do. That I would try to take the number 9 bracelet. That I would try to kill Snake. Everything. Suddenly, Junpei remembered the paper he found in the safe. He remembered the last words Zero had written on it. I must punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved. I now state the truth, Zero. And he remembered other words, words he'd heard from Clover. I think Zero is one of us. One by one, Junpei looked at the 5 people standing in front of him. Ace, Santa, June, Seven, Lotus. Zero is one of us. No, Junpei paused. There was one more person. Snake. It was clear now that the man who died in the shower room was not Snake. That meant the Snake was almost certainly still alive. Perhaps Snake was Zero. Perhaps Snake had made Guy X wear his clothes so that he would appear to be dead. Where was Snake now? Perhaps he was somewhere, laughing at them. If he was Zero, surely he had lied about many other things. Was he watching them? I don't know. I don't think Snake would let his sister get killed if he was just watching. Or like, somewhere lurking in the distance. Well, I believe I've finished with my confession. Why don't we get moving? He sounded as if he'd just finished doing nothing more than exciting than describing the weather. For Santa, it was the last straw. What the hell is this? You aren't going anywhere. You're gonna leave you here to rot, okay? Why? Because I killed Clover? It's ridiculous. Why are you so upset that I killed her? She was nothing to you. A stranger you only met a few hours ago. Am I wrong? You bastard! Seven roared and lifted a fist that would likely have shattered Ace's jaw. But someone else was faster. It was Lotus. She stepped toward Ace and raised a fist of her own. Ooh, that's a punch! And drove it straight into his nose. Huh? You've got some fire, don't you? I confess, I rather like a tough woman. He sniffed and wiped a small trickle of blood from his nose with a raised eyebrow. Well, maybe you'd like another one then. Ha, before that, let me give you one of my own. Huh? Lotus scarcely had the time to blink. Ace snaked his arms around her and pulled Lotus's back up against him. In the same motion, he reached into his coat pocket. Oh, the gun! It was a gun. The revolver. Almost lazily, he tilted it to point at Lotus's head. If any of you so much as blink, I won't hesitate to pull this trigger. I've already killed 2, no, 3 people. Don't think I'm not ready to make it 4. 3 people? What do you mean? Very well. Let me take this opportunity to eliminate you. The person who killed the 9th man was me. Although I suppose to be more accurate, I encouraged him to get himself killed. While we were examining the main staircase, he came to me and told me his name. I recognized it at once, so I gave him a little push. Just a little white line. It seems the setting for the dead were altered. Now it only requires a single person to deactivate the detonator in the bracelet. Investigate what's going beyond door 5. We'll meet again later. Okay. Have a good one, guys. I'm gonna go off ahead now. Well then. Why isn't it stopping? You lied. Open the door, please. I'm begging you. Help me, please. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Oh my god, oh my god. There's no time left. Listen, I was lied to. He lied to me. Put me in here. It was him. He killed me. It was him. Yeah! Should have just said a name. Although we don't know anybody's real name because they all use code names. I had 4 reasons for killing him. 1. As I said before, in the nonary game, the number 9 bracelet is of utmost importance. If I'd allowed him to keep such a useful tool, he, or it, would have become a threat to me. As such, I decided that he should be eliminated early on. 2. I wanted the number 9 bracelet. If I could manage to obtain it, I would be able to manipulate the game as I saw fit. I would be unable to require the bracelet unless its owner was dead. 3. Even setting aside his number, he would have been nothing but trouble for me. He was aware of my past. He knew what happened 9 years ago. It was important that I eliminate him before he was able to disseminate this information. 4. Lastly, I wish to conduct a simple test. A test to see if this nonary game was serious, or a poor attempt at a joke. I needed to be quite sure. As such, I encouraged him to act against the rules so that I might be able to observe the outcome. Junpei glared at him. I don't get your third motive. What the hell happened 9 years ago? Didn't I say? The nonary game was played. I planned it out. I conducted its execution. Why? What on earth was it supposed to do? I don't really think I have any obligation to tell you that. Ace smirked. He was trying to provoke him, and it was working. Although Ace had paid very little attention to Lotus after catching her, the gun had never wavered from her temple. She looked quite pale, and when she spoke, her voice shook. Hey, what's with this gun? Where did he get this? Why don't you tell her, Santa? Santa ground his teeth and glared at Ace. On the other side of door 6. We found the gun in the coffin in the cargo room. Right? That bastard must have grabbed it when we weren't looking. Indeed I did. That was a pretty serious mistake, you know. Just saying, you intended to leave it behind? Ace laughed, a short, derisive snort, and gave Junpei a sickeningly pitying look. Well, there isn't much time left. I'll be off then. Where are you going? Do I really need to explain? I'd assumed it would be obvious. I have the number 9 bracelet, and now I have Lotus. Wasn't there a door with a 9 on it in the room that looked like a church? That's where you're going, isn't it? And how do you know that? Santa told me about it while we were looking for Clover. I see. Well, you are correct. That is my destination. But now, I must say goodbye. To all of you. And please, don't forget my warning. Move, and I'll pull the trigger. I don't need her alive to open the door, you know? As he spoke, Ace began backing toward the door, practically dragging Lotus behind him. Junpei, Santa, June, and Seven stood, frozen. Ace had the face of a man gone mad. They had no doubt he would pull the trigger. Ace had reached the exit. He forced Lotus to open it, and turned and addressed them once more. Goodbye. He stepped through the door. It fell shut. In the blink of an eye, they were gone. As soon as Ace and Lotus were gone, Junpei and the others leapt for the door, in pursuit of Ace. But as Junpei laid his hand on the doorknob, there was a noise behind him. He looked over his shoulder. June was kneeling on the floor, breathing heavily. Hey, June, what happened? Are you alright? Santa ran to June and wrapped his arm around her before she could collapse all the way. Jesus, you're burning up. Your fever's back. Are you okay? June's fever had returned. Again, for no apparent reason. Her eyes were watery and her eyelids dropped. Her breath came in dry, shallow gasps. I'm okay. Really, I'm fine. You should be worrying about Lotus. She was breathing hard now, and she could barely summon the strength to talk. Junpei was torn. He couldn't leave June alone in the state she was in. But every moment they waited, Ace was farther away, Lotus's life in his hands. What was Junpei supposed to do? June's eyes drifted to Junpei's. She managed to muster a weak smile. Jumpy, don't worry about me. I just need a little rest. I'll be fine. Don't you remember? I just needed to rest a little bit last time. So please save Lotus. Think about what Ace has already done, Junpei. When he's got what he needs from Lotus, you really think he's gonna let her go and just let her just walk away? You guys go on ahead. As soon as June starts feeling better, we'll follow you. Go! Junpei looked at June. She nodded once. She couldn't manage much more. But it was all the confirmation Junpei needed. His resolve was set. Alright, come on, Seven. We're going after Ace. Hell yeah! Santa, you take good care of June. I'm trusting you. Santa nodded. Junpei turned, before he had the chance to change his mind, and started running toward the door. He could hear Seven's heavy footsteps behind him. Let's go. Junpei and Seven exploded into the hallway, their feet pounding the metal floor as they ran. I don't think we're gonna make it in time. I don't know what we're gonna be able to do, because even if we try to stop him, freaking, Like he could just kill Lotus at any time. Junpei and Seven had finally arrived at the church, exhausted and out of breath. As their lungs struggled to catch their breath, their eyes frantically scanned the room. No sign of Ace or Lotus. You think they already went through? He reached up to wipe a palmful of sweat from his brow. Maybe. Even as he spoke, Junpei was already on his way to the larger of the number 9 doors. He looked at the red. The display panel read vacant. He spun around and headed toward the smaller door. The red would tell him if Ace and Lotus had moved to another room. Engaged. It's occupied. That means Ace and Lotus went through here. Yeah, it seems like it. Junpei and Seven stepped away from the door. They retreated to the center of the room and began to talk. What do we do now? Yeah, what should we do? Well, the big door's still vacant, but the two of us can't do anything with it. Yeah. First of all, our digital route is not 9. Just then, as they were pondering what to do next, the coffin's a knocking. There was a noise. A noise like someone hitting a thick wooden panel. Junpei looked up, surprised. Seven followed suit, his eyes jumping around the room, looking for the source of the sound. It wasn't long before they found the altar. Or more precisely, what was on it. The coffin. Yeah. Let's open it. How? By force. I don't think that's gonna happen. Well, you never know till you try, right? The only necessity for success is the willingness to suffer 1,000 failures. Who said that? I forget. Anyway, we've gotta try. Junpei and Seven leapt at the coffin. They grabbed hold of what purchase they could find and pulled. See? Didn't I tell you? If you could just pull it open, why would it have something like that? Seven pointed at a keypad on the side of the coffin. Right, so unless I put in the right passcode, it's not gonna open. The noise hadn't stopped. In fact, as it continued, it had only gotten louder and more forceful. What were they supposed to do? Junpei wondered. Was there some sort of clue somewhere? They stood there for a few moments, staring at the coffin, and then Seven spoke. Hey, Junpei. I remember you mumbling something about some weird numbers over by the bathroom in the first-class cabin. You got those numbers by solving the secret message Clover was holding, right? Truth had gone or something like that? Yeah, that's right. What about it? Well, maybe that number's the passcode for this thing too. Come on, that's impossible. Those numbers were the code to unlock that safe. Yeah, but the person who set that safe up in this coffin is the same person, right? Zero set up both of these. Yeah, probably. Well, then they might have set the same passcode for both of them. That's ridiculous. Why don't you just try it? I mean, it's not like you'll make things any worse. It'd just be a waste of time. There's no way they're the same number. How do you know that? You never know until you try. The only necessity for success is a willingness to suffer 1,000 failures. Who said that? You. You said it. Fine. He knelt down on the front of the keypad and looked at it. Perhaps because he repeated them so many times before, the numbers came easily to Junpei's mind. 143-83421. Quickly, he typed them in. He checked that he'd entered the right numbers and took a deep breath and pressed the E button. It only took a moment. Oh, it opened! What? You've got to be kidding me. There was a click. Now, I can be really, really, really mean and not let you guys know who's in the coffin or, yeah, who or what's in the coffin until next time, because we are approaching that 30-minute mark, but we'll see who's in there, and then we'll stop the episode, because I have to. And then you guys can formulate all the theories you want, and then in the next episode after, we will finish this ending, okay? Okay? That's the deal. I'll let you guys see who's in the coffin, and then I gotta stop it. And with a heavy clunk, the lid of the coffin slid off onto the floor. Someone sat up from inside. Snake! You? Why? Oh, it's Snake. Oh, it's Snake. Those voices. Junpei and Seven, unless I'm mistaken. Where are the others? Are they elsewhere? Of course, there was no reason Snake would have known anything about where anyone else would be. Junpei and Seven looked at one another. There was a great deal he needed to know, but... Oh... They had to tell him something, however, so they began to talk. Snake explained to them how he became locked into the coffin. Apparently he'd been hit with some sort of knockout gas, and Junpei and Seven explained what had happened to the rest of them. Okay, there was one thing, however, that neither Seven nor Junpei could bring themselves to say. That Ace had killed Clover. They feared that if Snake knew, he might well go insane. They decided as much by looking the moment Snake had climbed out of the coffin. Snake's story explained frustratingly little. Zero's true identity was a mystery, as were his intentions. Why had Zero put Guy X in Snake's clothes? If Zero had left a note for them to say the Nonary game had been played 9 years before, was there some connection? Junpei put the question to Snake. We're gonna put it right there. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this episode so you guys now know that Snake was in the coffin. He was knocked out, so we don't know much more other than that. But start formulating your theories and let me know what you guys think is going on. I can't wait to read the comments about this one, and I'm pretty sure a few of you guys are gonna hate me, but I'm sorry, I just don't want to make it a really long episode. So next time we will finish the safe ending and we will be on our way to the true conclusion of 999. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed. I'll see you guys on the next MAMJ. Clover's dead. I found it in the first class bathroom. All sounds ceased for Junpei. The world was an empty, muffled experience. Then, he began to hear his own breathing. Jun's mouth moved, but he heard nothing.